Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Melissa. If you're new, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I speak about different topics in my channel. Today I'm going to start a new series that is called Hate Crimes, which are committed by people who have a problem with another person, whether it's skin color, sexually, basically the LGBT community, the transgender, whatever it is that the other person dislike, and it makes it a hate crime. When it comes to hate crimes were, for a long time people fought to make it a law because back then, hate crime wasn't something that could be punished for. Like if you commit a murder or you unalive a person because of their skin color, the law did not basically the law wasn't allowed to punish you for that crime. I don't know why. So I am gonna give you a warning. If you saw my last video yesterday, I did said that I was gonna talk about James Byrd Jr. I think I mentioned that I was gonna talk about him. But I am gonna give you a warning. This case, it's just the case that I don't want to believe that happened. There's not a lot of videos on YouTube that I could find, and I have never heard of this case until I was brainstorming and trying to figure out what other series I could add to my channel, and this was one of them. But like I say, this is a warning. This one it's hard to read, and it's gonna be hard to listen to. Also, today's my birthday. I'm turning 37 years old, and there's a couple of things I want, but one of those things is to hopefully grow my YouTube channel, and when they have a lot of subscribers, I think that would be amazing. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So James Byrd Jr. was born on May 2nd of 1949 in Beaumont, Texas, the third of 9 children to Stella Mae Sharp and James Byrd Sr. His mother was a Sunday school teacher, and his father was a deacon at the Great New Bethel Church. James graduated from Jasper Row High School in 1967, the last segregated class. After graduating from high school, he married and had 3 children, Renee, Rose, and Jamie. Between 1969 and 1996, James was incarcerated several times. He was in prison several times for various offenses, including theft, forgery, and violation of parole. He worked as a vacuum salesman. So back then, guys, I guess you would knock on people's doors and try to sell them a vacuum. I didn't know that was a job, but I guess it is. James was a cousin of dental Larry Keene, who was Ronnie Keene's first wife and mother to his daughter Laura Keene. Rose, the only son of James, has been involved with murder victims' families for reconciliation organization that oppose capital punishment. He is campaigning to spread the lives of those who murdered his father, and apparently briefly in the documentary Deadline, which I have not seen that one because, like I said, it's been so hard to find any videos about this case. On June 7th of 1988, James, age 39, accepted ride from Sean Berry, 23, Lawrence Byrd, age 31, and John Keene, age 23. I'm about to get to the murder. This is the murder, and I don't know how. I'm just warning y'all, please. This is a warning. Who was driving with the acquaintance with James from around the town. Instead of taking James home, the 3 men took James to a remote county road out of town, beat him severely, spread painted his face, urinated and defect oh my god, I can't say this word, defectated.
Defecó.
Defecated. Let me start again because, okay, guys, let me just start. James Brown was born on May 2nd of 1949 in Burton, Texas. The third of 9 children to Stella Mae Sharp and James Byrd Sr. His mother was a Sunday school teacher and his father was a deacon in the Great North Bethel Church. James graduated from Jasper High School in 1967, the last segregated class. After graduating from high school, he married and had 3 children, Renee, Rose, and Jamie. Between 1969 and 1996, James was in prison several times for various offenses, including theft, forgery, and violation of parole. He worked as a vacuum salesman. James was a cousin of Denton Leslie Keene, who was Ronnie Keene's first wife and mother of his daughter Laura Keene. Rose, the only son of Brian, had been involved with murder victims' family and radicalization, an organization that opposed capital punishment. He is campaigning to spread the lives of those who murdered his father and appeared briefly the documentary Deadline. On June 7th of 1998, James, age 49, accepted a ride from Sean, age 23, Lawrence, age 31, and John, age 23. Barry, who was driving, was acquainted with James from around the town. Instead of taking James home, the 3 men took James to a remote country road out of town, beat him severely, spray painted his face, urinated, and defecated on him. And changed him by his ankles to their pickup truck before dragging him for about 3 miles, 5 kilometers, on Huff Creek Road, County Road 278. Barry later claimed that James' throat had been slashed by Barry before he was dragged. However, forensic evidence suggests that James had been attempting to keep his head up while being dragged. And an autopsy suggests that James was alive doing much of the dragging. I could not imagine having to be this cold-hearted. Mind you, there were still problem going on between the whites and the blacks. But for you to just, I'll give my opinion at the end of the story, but it's just ridiculous. James died about half along the route of his dragging, when his right arm and head were severed and his body hit a curved. While almost all of James' ribs were fractured, his brain and skulls were found intact, further suggesting that he maintains consciousness while he was being dragged. Barry, Byrd, and King dumped the mutilated remains of James' body in front of an African American cemetery on Huff Creek Road, then drove off to a barbecue. You killed a person, dragged them for miles, and you go to a barbecue and act like you didn't do anything? If that is not... Oh my... Okay. If this is... This has to be one of the most... Barry... Oh my god. A mortis found James decapitated remains the following morning along the area where James was dragged. Police found a wrench with Byrd written on it. That's how they got caught, apparently, I guess. They also found a lighter that was inscribable with Possum, which was Keen's prison nickname. The police found 81 places that included protations of James' remains. Since Byrd and Keen were well-known white supremacists, it was determined by the state law enforcement official that the murder was a hate crime. They called upon the Federal Bureau of Investigation less than 24 hours after the discovery of James' remains. The special agent in charge of the FBI Houston office said that they were assisting because of the case's extreme circumstances. Keen had a servant racist tattooed, a black man hanging from a tree, a Nazi symbol, the words "Aree Pride," and the patch for a gang of white supremacist inmates who known as the Confederate Knights of America. Oh my god, what is wrong with people? What is wrong with people? Why? Why? Oh my god. In a jailhouse letter to Byrd that was certified by jail official, Keen expressed pride in the crime and said that he realized that while committing the murder that he may have to die. Regardless of the outcome of this, we have made history. Death before dishonor, Siggy Hill, Keen wrote. An officer investigated the case also testified that witness said that Keen had referred to the term dairies after beating James. Byrd, and Keen were tried and convicted for James' murder. Byrd and Keen received the death penalty, while Byrd was sentenced to life in prison. Byrd was executed by lethal injection on September 21st, 2001, and Keen was executed on April 24 of 2019. During the trial of Sean Allen Byrd, born February the 12th of 1975, his birthday was yesterday. That is, and mine's today. I can't. The prosecution concedes that he was not a white supremacist, but they argue that he was just as responsible for James' murder as the other men and suggest that he may have been a thrill killer. Byrd's attorney had 3 black men who knew him testify that he was not a racist. Byrd claimed that Byrd and Keen were almost entirely responsible for the crime. He said he tried to stop them from attacking James until Byrd threatened to do the same to him. Byrd, however, testified that Byrd had cut James' throat before he was tied to the truck. The jury decided that the minimal evidence supported this claim. Byrd was also the only one of the 3 to show any degree of remorse. As a result, Byrd was sentenced to life in prison rather than death. As of 2020, Byrd was living in protective custody at the Texas Department of Criminal Justice Residency Unit, and he will be first eligible for parole on June 2038. By the time he'll be 63 years old. He spent 23 hours per day in a cell measuring 8 by 6 feet, with 1 hour for exercise. Byrd married Christy Moran by proxy. Lawrence Russell Brewer, born March 13th, was a white supremacist who, prior to James' murder, had served prison sentence for drug possession and burglary. He was paroled in 1991 after violation his parole conditions in 1994. Byrd will return to prison. According to his court testimony, he joined a white supremacist prison gang with Keen in order to safeguard himself from other inmates. Byrd and Keen became friends in the Battle Unit prison. A psychiatrist testified that Byrd did not appear repentant for his crimes during the trial. The prosecution labeled him a racist psychopath. Byrd was eliminated, convicted, and sentenced to death. Byrd was on death row at the Policy Unit, but he was executed in the Huntsville Unit on September 21, 2011. The day before his execution, Byrd expressed no remorse for his crimes, and as he told KHOU 11 News in Houston, as far as any regrets, no, I have no regrets. Nope, I'll do it all over again to tell you the truth. And I hope you're burning in hell, mister. I hope you're burning in hell, sir, because what is wrong with you? I guess prison did not help you open your eyes and think that you were, I don't know, remorse. And it sucks that they put him in the death penalty, because they could have put him with population, because I'm telling you, he would not have been having fun in prison if he was with the other inmates. Just how? Before his execution, Byrd ordered a large and intensive last meal that promoted the end last meal request in Texas. The meal included 2 chicken fried steaks with gravy and sliced onions, a triple party bacon cheeseburger, a cheese omelet with ground beef, tomatoes, onions, bell pepper, and jalapenos, a bowl of fried orca with ketchup, and 1 pound of barbecue meat with half a loaf of white bread, 3 fruit-loaded fajitas, a meat lover pizza, 1 pane of Blue Bell vanilla ice cream, a slate of peanut butter fudge with crushed peanuts on top, and 3 rocks beers. When the meal was presented, he told officials that he was not hungry, and as a result, he did not eat any of it. So why the hell did you order it, sir? Like, you just goddamn wasted people's time while you ordering all this damn... Oh my god. The meal was this card promoting state Senator John Weekend to ask a prison official to end the 87-year-old tradition of giving last meals to condemned inmates. The prison agency executive director responded by stating that the practice has been terminated effectively immediately. So whoever's in death row and they don't ask you for your last meal, you could blame Mr. Barry over here, because he done make the prisoners cook all this food and he didn't even eat it. Okay, so blame him. John William Billy King, born November 3rd of 1974, was Barry's longtime friend. He was accused of beating James with a bat and then dragging him behind a pickup truck until he died. King, who prior to the murder had recently been released from a Texas prison, said that he had been repeatedly gang raped in prison by black inmates. Is it true? We don't know. He was found guilty and sentenced to death for his role in James' kidnapping and murder, and was on death row for the Paliquis unit. On December 21st of 2018, King execution by lethal injection was scheduled for April 24th of 2019, and April 22nd, 2019, his appeals for both the Texas Court of Criminal Appeals, the Texas Board of Pardons and paroles were denied. He was executed at Huntsville unit in April 24th of 2009. And I hope you and your piece of shit friend are burning in hell. Numerous aspects of the James murder echo launching traditions that were common in post-Civil War South. These include mutilation or decapitation and reveals such as barbecue or a panic either during or after launching. James' murder was strongly commended by Jesse Jackson in the Martin Luther King Center as an act of biased racism. It also focused on national attention on the prevalence of white supremacist princes again. 3 sisters of James are Joanna witnesses in his joint statement said, quote, having a loved one torture and lynch product an unimaginable sense of loss and pain. How does one respond to such a brutal act? Relation, hateful speech, or promotion of hate-ridden propaganda never enter one's mind. We thought, what would Jesus have done? How would he have responded? The answer was crystal clear. His message would have been one of the peace and hope. The victim family created the James Brain Foundation for radical healing after his death. Basketball star Dennis Rodman paid their funeral expenses and gave James' family $25,000. Fight promoter Don King gave James' children $100,000 to be put towards their education expense. On the 25th anniversary of James' death, a family member reflected in 2020 interview for the Texas Tribune that the foundations had become much harder than as knowledge of James' murder phase. One sister reflect that 3 was less awareness amongst the public of hater in the community. People don't want to fund it because they think there's no hate in the world. She was quote saying. A report visiting Jasper in 2018 noted that server residents denies James' death had any relation to racism or hate crimes. Reading for the Pacific Standard magazine of John Saget said, 1,000 white residents have told me that ridicule hater wasn't the principal motivation of James' killers. Most of them say the murder was simply the result of a drug deal gone wrong. King's lawyer made the same argument to the 5th USA Credit Court in appeal. I'm sorry, people, but the only reason y'all saying that is because y'all racist yourself. That it was a race crime. This man was not doing anything to them. Mind y'all, did y'all hear me say anything about him having drugs? No, he was walking, minding his own business because he was going home. He saw the guy. He knew the guy from town. They gave him a ride, and these piece of shits, I'm sorry, but these pieces of shit beat him, peed on him, and just paint. It was, no, y'all are so illusional. On October 7th of 1988, an episode of Law and Order titled Driving While Black referenced the murder with the plot. Instead of 3 white supremacists, however, the killers were 3 white New York City police officers. As the plot goes, the officers stop and arrested a black man for no reason and then proceed to drag him to his death after tying him to the car. And in 1999, the documentary Journey to Hate Freed Millennium was released, showcasing 3 United States hate crimes: that shooting at Columbia High School, the death of a gay student, Matthew Shaper, which I will be covering his story, so y'all look it up. Y'all wait for that case. And the murder of James the same year. The city of Jasper named a local park, James Byrd Jr. Memorial Park, in his honor. In 2003, a movie about the crime titled Jasper, Texas was produced and aired on Showtime. The same year, a documentary titled Two Towns of Jasper, made by filmmakers Marker Williams and White Whitney Dodd, premiered on PBC or POV series. White, employed at a radio DJ station RAR in Washington, D.C., Doug Tash, also known as the Gracie Man, made a derogatory comment referring to James after playing Lauryn Hill's song Doop Whoop That Thing. The February 1999 accident proved catastrophic to a trash radio career and getting protested from black and white listeners alike. He was quickly fired from a warrant and lost his position as a volunteer deputy sheriff in Falls Church, Virginia. Good for you. That's exactly what you get. In May 2004, 2 white teenagers, Josh Lee Talley and John Matthew Fleury, was arrested and charged with crime mischieving for disgrading James' grave with ridicule, slur, and profanity. According to the 2023 report in the Texas Tribune, James' grave has been segregated on at least one other occasion. As a result of the desecration, his family had gated iron railing and closer placed around it. So y'all white people, y'all don't believe that this has anything to do with races? Y'all still believe that this has to do with drugs? Really? Okay. Some of advocates groups such as the NAACP, National Voter Fund, made an issue of this case during George Washington presidential campaign in 2000. They accused Bush of inflicting racism since his government of Texas he opposed hate crime legislation. Also, criticizing and prior committing Bush did not appear at James' funeral because 2 of the 3 murders were sentenced to death, and the 3rd murder was sentenced to life in prison. All 3 of them were charged with and convicted of capital murder, the highest felony level in Texas. Governor Bush maintained, "We do not need torture laws." The 17th Texas legislation passed the James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Act with the signature of Governor Rick Perry, who inherited the balance of Bush's expired term. That act became Texas law in 2001 and in 2009. The Matthew Shaper and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act expanded the 1969 United States federal hate crime law to include crimes which are motivated by victims' actual perceived gender, sexual orientation, general identity, or disability. 2001 album Piece of Me by singer-songwriter Lori McCain. The song Pink Sweater is dedicated to James. It commends his murder in reference to the death penalty conviction with recourse refined. I'll be the one in the pink sweater dancing around when you're gone. And in 2009, Alabama musician Matthew Mainfield wrote, record, and released a song in James' honor. The tune titled Still Alive is the fourth track in Mainfield EP You're Not Home. Still Alive clearly relate as a stark bitterness towards racism and a quote such hate crime with genealogy. Tell Me Why featuring Mary J. Blige mentions James on Will Smith's fourth album Lost and Found. James' son Rose recorded the rap album Undeniable Restoration and dedicated to his father. Jasper by Confession Camp, his fifth track on the album. Objects Mirror are closed then the appear in 2000. So that is a case of James. This case, guys, is just like I don't understand. Like, what? The fact that I could not imagine the pain that James was going through. He was alive through half of the drag when they were dragging him. He had his head up. Mind you, one of them said that they cut his head. They didn't cut it. His head was up. They put a chain, I'm guessing, in one of his legs, and the other one they just let it. So his head was up because he was trying to keep his head up. Like, oh my God. I can't. And the fact that one of them said, I don't have no remorse. And you people still want to sit here and said that it was nothing to do with racism. It has to do with drugs. Ma'am, did you hear what this man said before he died? That he did not regret it. And that he would have done it again. That is a psychopathic person. That person had to have some type of problems in his head, because for you to sit there before you die, mind you, there's people on death row that before they die, some of them will, have remorse, but he didn't. Like, oh my God, it's just, I can't. I'm telling you guys, when I came across this case, it was just like, I didn't think it was real. I was like, this has to be a fake. This has to be a fake story, but it's not. It is a real case, y'all. It's just, it is so heartbroken. And a father lost, a family lost their father, their brother, their sister, their son. And I'm not even surprised that and then the other person who was committed to life in prison without the possibility of parole. I don't know why they have him in why they have him separated from the population. Because from what everybody in prison is saying, he was the only one who felt some type of remorse. Prisoners, people that were in jail with him testified and said that he was not racist. Mind you, these are black people that were testifying. He could have stopped it. I feel like he could have stopped it. At least try to stop it. You know? But he didn't. I don't... He said he tried, but I don't think he did. I really don't. I really don't think he tried to do anything. But that's just my opinion. But yeah, I really don't think he stopped it, and it sucks to say it sucks that I'm saying it, but he didn't. Why they have him away from the population and the other prisoners? Because I want to say probably because there are some prisoners that do not believe for what he said, and they're probably gonna want to take revenge on him. And they don't have anything to lose, guys. I'm sorry. They're not. I just don't. This case it breaks my heart because, like, for what? You took someone's life for what? Just because he was black. And then one of them had a tattoo of a African American hanging. I don't know who the tattoo artist was for this, but it must have been a white person. It had to be a white person, because who else was going to do it? It's just, I am lost for words with this case, guys. I really am. But I will see you soon with a new video. I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you have a wonderful Friday. And happy Valentine's. I do not upload on Fridays. So happy Valentine's to you guys. I hope you enjoy your Valentine's with your loved one. And if you don't have anybody, just enjoy it with yourself and go buy you some flowers, like Miley says. You could buy yourself flowers. You could buy yourself candy. You could buy yourself wine. Just have fun and be careful and do not do anything crazy if you do decide to drink.